The hard cheese in your fridge might be an imposter. Real Parmigiano is not just a block of cheese. It's centuries of craft, strict rules, and a flavor that changes the moment you taste it. In the next 5 minutes, I'll take you from the cow's udder to the shop counter, show you how to pick a genuine wheel or wedge, teach you the small tests that expose imitations, and explain the real nutritional benefits and the limits of true Parmigiano. Let's start at the source, the milk. Traditional Parmigiano begins with raw cow's milk from specific provinces in northern Italy. Farmers collect evening milk and let it sit so cream rises slightly. Then they skim the cream and combine that evening milk with fresh morning milk. These timing and handling details matter because fat content, local pasture, and the microbes in raw milk all shape the final flavor. Real Parmigiano makers use local feed and seasonal milk. That seasonal swing is part of the cheese's personality. Next, the vat and the curd. Milk goes into large copper vats and is warmed gently. Natural calf rennet is added, causing the milk to coagulate. When the curd is firm, cheesemakers break it into very small granules. This is critical. Smaller curd particles release more whey and create the dense, crumbly texture Parmigiano is famous for. The curd is then cooked a bit, rinsed of more whey, and allowed to settle into molds. Those molds give the cheese its classic wheel shape. Salting and aging follow. Wheels spend days in brine baths to absorb salt evenly. Then they're aged on wooden shelves, flipped regularly, for a minimum of 12 months. Though most true Parmigiano you love is aged 24, 30, or even 36 months. Aging is where texture and flavor develop. Long aging creates crystalline crunch, those tiny white grains you feel between your teeth, and intensifies savory, nutty, and fruity notes. The rind darkens, the aroma deepens, and the wheel gains character only time can give it. Certification matters. Parmigiano Reggiano is a protected product. Authentic wheels are inspected and, if approved, branded on the rind with official marks. That rind stamp, producer code, and a clear aging date are your first proof of authenticity. If you don't see them, you're looking at something else. Now the sensory signs of quality. Real Parmigiano is aromatic. Green and fruity notes on top of deep umami. Think toasted nuts, savory broth, a hint of dried apple. The texture is granular and slightly crumbly. It flakes and crumbles rather than bends. When you bite a shard, you may feel tiny crystals. Those are amino acid crystals, a sign of long, proper aging. Fake or industrial Parmesan-style cheeses often feel rubbery or uniformly hard, with a one-note salty or cardboard-like flavor. They lack those subtle floral and nutty background notes. How to spot fakes and poor imitations at a glance. First, check the label and rind. Is there a PDO, DOP, or Parmigiano Reggiano stamp? Is an aging month or year printed? If the package only says Parmesan without origin, beware. Second, avoid pre-graded tubs as your primary indicator of quality. Many pre-graded products contain anti-caking agents and are blends of different cheeses. Third, look at texture. A real wedge shows crystalline granularity under light. An industrial block is visually uniform. Fourth, ask your seller for provenance. Small cheesemongers will tell you the producer, the age, and often let you taste. A quick micro-action you can do right now. When you buy a wedge, check the rind for stamping and a production code. Smell it. True Parmigiano smells complex, not just cheesy. Taste it in a small shard, let it dissolve on your tongue and notice bitterness, sweetness, umami. Those quick sensory checks train your palate fast. Let's talk nutrition, without the hype. Parmigiano is nutrient-dense. It's high in protein and rich in calcium, and because it's a hard, well-aged cheese, much of its lactose is broken down during aging. That's why many people with mild lactose intolerance can enjoy small amounts without trouble, though individual tolerance varies. Parmigiano also contains free amino acids from protein breakdown and micronutrients like phosphorus and certain B vitamins. But remember, it's concentrated, also high in sodium and fat, so moderation matters. Use shards to add flavor rather than large servings. A few buying tips that change your experience and your money's worth. First, buy a wedge from a trusted cheese counter rather than a pre-shredded container. Wedges preserve more flavor and let you see the rind and texture. Second, prefer older ages if you want flakes and crystals. A 24-36 month Parmigiano reads differently on your palate than a 12-month version. Third, buy from a supplier who rotates stock and lists harvest or production dates so you're not getting stale cheese. Fourth, store properly. Keep in parchment and then a loose plastic wrap in the coldest part of the fridge. Don't freeze, as freezing damages texture. A quick myth-busting test you can try at home. real Parmigiano flakes and breaks with a crystalline snap. If your wedge bends without flaking or melts into a uniform blob when briefly warmed, it's likely lower quality. Another tiny test. Real Parmigiano will not dissolve into a pasty film when chewed. It crumbles and yields savory notes gradually. Final practical checklist before you buy. Verify PDO DOP stamp or producer info. Check the aging month. Buy wedge over pre-graded. Look for crystalline texture and complex aroma. Taste a shard. If you do those 5 things, you'll dramatically raise the chance that your purchase is authentic and delicious. To recap, authentic Parmigiano starts with carefully handled raw milk, precise curd handling in copper vats, brining, and long aging that gives crystalline texture and deep flavor. Genuine wheels carry official marks and aging info. Nutritionally, Parmigiano is a protein and calcium-rich food with low residual lactose when well-aged, but enjoy it in small amounts because of salt and fat content. Try the micro-challenge tonight. Buy a small wedge, check the rind, smell it, taste one shard for fruitiness, bitterness, and umami, and compare that experience to any pre-grated cheese in your fridge. You'll probably be surprised how different real Parmigiano tastes, and how little you need to transform a simple dish.